I'm gonna show you guys how to change your Suzuki internal anodes the easy way. Stay tuned. So right here we have 5 internal anodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need a 12mm socket and probably a 12mm wrench too if you don't feel like taking off the side cowling. So this bottom one, this is where we're gonna use the wrench. Now these anodes, they're very important to change, and I never really recommend just checking them. If you're checking them, just change them. They're so easy to do. They're a sacrificial anode. What that means is they're a softer metal than the aluminum around it, so they're designed to deteriorate and get eaten up by the corrosion before the aluminum does. If you let them go too long and the anodes get all eaten up, they're going to go on to the next metal that's the easiest for them to eat. And what's that going to be? The actual aluminum of your block. Now that we have all the bolts out, the next step is to get them out. What we do not want to do is just jam a screwdriver in there. You can damage the metal. I just use a pair of channel locks. Sometimes they can get stuck in there, and you will have to hit the side with a punch gently just to get them to rotate. But most of the time you can get them with pliers. There's one, for example, halfway eaten. So these ones have been done before, so that they do come out easy. If they've been sitting, I mean, if the outboard's older and they've never been done, they can be a little harder to get out. That's pretty much what it looks like. All right, now we're in my van, mobile office per se, and maybe the lighting's better to see. That's what one looks like. Now this is how I remove them. If you look inside there, there's actually a bolt inside there. So the way that I prefer to take these apart, instead of trying to get the socket in there, which you'll have to sit there and scrape around with a pick, it's very tedious. What I will do, get a vise. If you don't have a vise, you can use 2 pairs of pliers to do this. This way it's just a little bit easier. Pinch just the anode itself, like that. Grab your pliers, twist it. Oh. It's okay if you crunch the anode, we're replacing it. So get it nice and tight in there. Sometimes what happens is the anode falls apart, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're basically just trying to get to the meat. We'll get all the meat off so we can get to that. This one's actually a really good one to show you guys for an example, because sometimes they don't always come out easy. You can start to see what's happening there. It's just falling apart. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe grab the pliers and try breaking around it. It is a pretty soft metal. So now what we're left with is we can actually get to the bolt head. Clamp that down in there. Get our 8mm socket. Give it a little tap, tap, tap. Make sure it's fully seated on there. And loosen the bolt. Now, what you can see happening is actually good. The anode itself is spinning. Completely fine. If it goes too easy, what would I show you guys? Now we're left with this. And also this cover for this anode. So what we can do, put it back in the vise. Let's just try getting the bolt out of it again. All right, you see it's spinning. Now I'm gonna try putting the anode back in there, and I'm gonna smack the actual cover. You don't wanna smack the threads of the nut because you will mushroom them. All right, I think it worked. Yeah, so now you can see there's a gap right there. We should be able to take it apart, and you're left with the old anode, or what's left of it. This is what a new anode's supposed to look like. That old one, yes, there was more meat on it prior to me crunching it. Anodes don't exactly deteriorate, like the volume of it doesn't always disappear. It's more like mass. So they say the true way to tell is when a anode needs to be replaced is by weighing it. If more than 2/3 of the anode by weight is gone, it's time to replace it, even though the anode itself still kind of looks the same. Judging how that one came apart so easy, it was definitely time to replace that one. What I like to do before I put the anodes back in is take a screwdriver and just scrape everything that's inside of there out. Sometimes it'll just be clawed completely shut. This one isn't that bad, surprisingly. This bottom one actually doesn't look all that good. That's what's coming off my screwdriver. What I also like to do is take like a vacuum. You can use an air compressor, garden hose, either shoot air, shoot water in there, or suck out just the remnants in there. All right, so now we got all the salt stuff out of there. We got it all cleaned up. We have the O-ring greased up. All you gotta do is just push it in there gently. And now for each bolt, I recommend this for any bolt on an outboard. Put some grease on it. Never, ever, ever use NICs. I hate NICs. You'll never catch me using NICs. It makes a mess, and plus it's dissimilar metals or some weird stuff, and it can actually cause issues. Did I mention it makes a mess? If you ever have a boat mechanic that recommends using NICs, you should find a new boat mechanic. All right, now we got all the bolts in. Let's go ahead and tighten them all down. Torque spec, I don't know, probably like 20 foot-pounds, maybe 30. I just snug them up. All right, that's pretty much all there is to change your internal anodes on your Suzuki outboard.